My name's Robert Tallini. I'm the owner of Road Race Motorsports, and I'm proud to introduce our latest product for the Fiat 500. It is the rear anti-sway bar system. This is a totally unique system that will fit all of the Fiats except for the Abarth. Needless to say, sway bar is a critical component on any of these cars and offers incredible handling without compromising ride, and installation of the product is very simple, and we're going to go over that today right now, how to install that. To get started, I want to identify the components of our sway bar system. We have the mounting brackets that are all CNC machined aircraft aluminum, as well as the hardware that consists of also aircraft grade hardware, and the sway bar itself, which goes across and ties the two sides of the torsion beam together. If you look, you'll see that one of these holes here goes across, and this is where it clamps onto the bar itself. These other two holes will be where you actually mount to the car. Fortunately for Fiat owners, there is a hole from the factory already here on the torsion beam, which is going to afford you a lot easier installation, because what you can start out with is going ahead and putting the bracket through that hole, the existing hole here, and from there you will snug up the hardware. You're going to have washers that will be on both sides of the piece. All the piece where the existing hole is, go ahead and install the bolt through like that, snug it up, and do the same on the opposite side. Take and snug up the bracket. From there, once you have it snugged up, which we'll go ahead and do that right now for you, I'm going to show you. It would be optimal to have your bolts go through the bottom and up. But if you're having difficulty or you don't have quite the right tool, it's acceptable for you to bring the bolt down from the top through the part. You can drop your 12mm bolt through like this. Bring your part up. Position it in line with where this part of the torsion bar changes to be the shock mount, and put your washer and nut on. The first thing I've done here is, using the existing hole in the torsion housing, is went ahead and pushed this bolt through with our washer at the bottom, of course. It is a little hard to fish the nut and washer up there. Takes a minute really just to get in there, but once you've got it in there, it becomes very easy, because now you can easily get a wrench to grab on up there. You can use an impact gun on the bottom if you like, or a large 1/2-inch drive ratchet. And what you're going to do is cinch this up very snug, but enough that you can still kind of move it a little bit like that, and I'll tell you why in a moment. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, use that same hole, the existing hole, snug it up to there, and at that point we will start aligning things so that we can drill our one hole, which is all we need to do, is drill one hole, and we'll have it marked perfectly based on the fact that we've got this all snugged up in place. So that becomes very easy. This bolt is even easier to install from the bottom up, as you'll see in a moment. So with a wrench on the top and a ratchet on the bottom, or an impact like this, we're going to snug this up. Not too tight. Again, we want to be able to rock this piece, this mounting bracket, back and forth a little bit. And we're going to do the same on the other side. And then we'll show you what to do. Now that we have the two brackets snugged up with just the one bolt, again, going through the existing hole that Fiat gives us, from here, we need to make sure that these two pieces are parallel to each other. And so it's kind of like doing toe-in or something. You basically want to do a measurement at the front end of it, which is fairly easy. And so we're like 42 1/4 here, and on the back we're at 43. So that means that we're going to need to kind of tap these, get them to move a little bit like that. We're going to close down a little bit here too. And also, you can pretty much eyeball where you're straight on the bracket or parallel with the tire. That's another good reference point, would be the reference between the tire and this piece and the tire and this piece. But again, to be, double sure, again, we'll come back and do this measurement again. Now we're at 42 1/2, so we've gotten a little bit wider in the front, and I'm sure we got narrower in the back. And let's see what we have here. There we are. We're at 42 1/2 at both ends. So now, again, to double check yourself, eyeballing it, just make sure it's parallel to the tire as well. Parallel to the tire. And now you can go ahead and begin your drilling process. So once you have these brackets snug, square to each other, of course parallel to the tire itself, now it becomes very easy and straightforward. You need to drill a 1/2 inch hole or a 12 millimeter hole. This is metric hardware. It is a 12 millimeter bolt. Very rugged, and some would say it's actually overkill. I highly suggest that you invest in, if you do not already have a new drill bit, then make sure you're using a bimetal drill bit, something that's not for wood, let's say, right? It's going to save you a lot of aggravation. Having a dull drill bit is something that will cause you a lot of aggravation, take a lot longer to drill. With a nice new drill bit, this hole will not take you very long at all. The metal is not very thick, and you have this perfect alignment fixture basically that allows you to be 100% on once you've started drilling. You can't mess up from here. So again, it makes it very simple. Go to the other side, do the same thing. Once you've done that, go ahead and slip your bolts in there. If you think, you may want to double check your measurement if you think that this moved at all while you were drilling, but if you're drilling straight up in, it's not going to be a problem at all. And from here, you'll be able to install the rest of your hardware, which again consists of nylock nut and a washer. And this bolt happens to be more accessible than the other one, so you can actually see it from the back of the shock, and you can easily place this down on the spot and turn it with your hand to begin it. And helps to have a little smaller hands. I will make a recommendation if you're someone that has really big hands, You may want to just remove the shock, which will allow you complete access to everything very easily. We did not have to do that here, but again, for somebody that maybe has bigger hands and can't quite get themselves in there, especially to get this front bolt started, it takes nothing to remove the shock. It's just a 17 millimeter, and that will allow everything to drop down. You can swing the shock out of the way, and you have complete access with your hands here. Okay, now we've completely installed the bracketry required to install the bar. I suggest that before you even tighten all of this down, you go to the next step. These bolts are here, you can see, but they are loose so that they are not clamping down on this hole. This hole is machined to thousandths of an inch tolerance to accommodate the bar that you will install that goes across. You may have a couple of different ways of doing it, but we think we can just pretty much slide it in, or we can work with one of these. Like I said, don't go and tighten everything yet, because you may need to loosen one of them up a little bit just to be able to slide this in far enough, and then be able to bring it back, slide it across, and pinch it in on the other side. All right, so what we've done so far really is part one of the installation process, and of course it's maybe the most involved. So part two of it is pretty straightforward. What we will do is remove a bracket completely to where we can slip the bar in, or remove both of them and feed the entire assembly up together, leaving all the bolts loose still, so you have the ability to manipulate a little bit. And then once you've got it manipulated, go ahead and make sure the bar is, equal side to side within the clamps. At that point, you can clamp these bolts down around the bar itself. Now, we do have a torque specification that we recommend for this, which is 45 foot-pounds only for this bolt right here that is squeezing down on the bar. 45 foot-pounds on here will allow for this to close down significantly tight. However, we do not want to go and try to squeeze this aluminum down so much that, let's say, it touches each other. That's not what we're after at all. Not to mention, that's not what we need. It is more than going to be adequately tight. And as a safeguard, throughout all of our beta testing, we ran the bar simply clamped in place. However, our production pieces have been taken to another level, where now we have cap screws that actually go in. And so these are threaded into the material. They're 6 millimeter bolts with washers and lock washers that will allow you to lock the bar in place side to side. Again, this is more than adequately tight. However, we consider that to be a safeguard against the bar coming loose at any given time and sliding any which way. So it's a kind of a redundant system that's there to ensure that this is the best product that it can be. What we've done here is we're going to go ahead and lift the entire bar up in place. I've enlisted Brandon here from Road Race to give me a hand. And again, now that we've got all of our holes drilled and we know we can make this work, we're going to go ahead and push our bolt up and in. Let this slide a little bit, which is sliding into place nicely. And once we've done that, we can, so somebody can reach in. Reach in. Feel free to reach in. Thank you, sir. Needed a little more help. One more hand. Go ahead and apply the washer and the nut. And again, because these are a little bit tight confines here, you may want to just remove the shock, and that'll allow you complete access to this area without feeling like you can't get your hands in there. We're going ahead with it this way because we're able to, but I can see where some people may want to just remove the shock. It's only another 5 minutes really, and in doing so, that might save you 10 minutes of frustration, you know. And from this point, what you'll do is go ahead and tighten up the primary 2 bolts that attach the bracket to the car. And again, you can use an impact. They are a large aircraft grade bolt, but nothing crazy. You can also use pretty much a 1/2 inch drive ratchet with a 19 on it. Get those tight, and then in this order, then come to here, make sure your bar is centered between the brackets now that the brackets are locked in. So our bar needs to just budge just a little bit to one side, just kind of feeling it from both ends here. And we've got it centered now. And then you will go ahead and install your 6mm bolts with the big flat washer first, the locking washer next, and you will tighten those down and just use a 1/4 inch drive ratchet. In other words, to give you a perspective of how much torque you really need to use, that would be all you have to do. These, again, we suggest are tightened down to about 45 pounds per square inch. A good snug tightening will be okay if you do not have a torque wrench, but if you have one, I think that would be the best thing. Just make sure you're not over tightening it, trying to close down the gap between these 2 pieces of aluminum. That is not what you have to do. They should not end up touching each other. If you've done that, you've over tightened this piece. This is the gap I'm referring to. Again, your objective is not to over tighten and have these 2 touch together. These should just be tight enough to hold the bar from moving. It will not make any noise. Do not be concerned that you didn't tighten it enough, so it's going to make noise. That's not going to happen. And at the same time, if you feel like it may have come loose, it's better to go back and tighten it again a little bit after you've driven it a few miles to snug it up than to break it upon initial installation. However, this stuff is way overkill. This material is much thicker than it should be. It's stronger. Everything we used here, every component is the strongest available to us that makes sense. I just want to take a moment to thank Chris for letting us use his car. He came in, you know, without expecting anything to help make this video for the Fiat community. And so, again, we appreciate that, Chris.
Okay. I've done the install myself, without a jack, by myself. It would definitely be a little easier, probably with a helper. As aforementioned with the video, the upgrades that I've done on the car in regards to handling, I would have to say that this is definitely the most noticeable. Body roll is close to nil, and it's a great product. I highly suggest it. I wouldn't drive my Fiat without it.
Thank you for watching our video. I hope it was helpful, and I hope this helps the community understand how easy it is for you to get the most out of your Fiat. They're great cars, and products like this one and others help to refine it and make them more fun, basically. So if you're interested in this particular product, please visit us at roadracemotorsports.com or call us 562-906-0080, and any of us can help you out. Thank you.